So let's talk a little bit about the deposits that you're paying once you sign your contract. It can be really confusing. And I know that we did look at some contracts in that module that we've already done on contracts. But here again, I just really want to go back into understanding the deposits because yes, you pay one deposit when you sign the contract or shortly after. Then you've got another deposit, the rest of your deposit to pay when the contract generally goes unconditional. And so the initial deposit, it's refundable if you choose to pull out during the cooling off period. Remember that the seller can keep 0.25% of the purchase price. So a refundable deposit which you pay into the sales agent's trust account within 24 to 48 hours after you sign the contract. The sales agent will tell you where to transfer it. And so they'll give you the bank account details of their trust account. This deposit is refunded if you pull out of the contract during the 5-day cooling off period. However, the seller can retain that 0.25% of the purchase amount. And so a good strategy is to keep this initial deposit to a minimum in case you do take advantage of that cooling off period, then you haven't really invested a lot of your money in the deposit. If you're trying to make your offer more attractive, however, you can increase this amount of this initial deposit. So your deposit to purchase the home, the deposit that you pay the seller is broken into two parts, the initial deposit and the balance deposit. The deposit that you pay your lender is separate. The deposit that you pay the seller is one amount divided into two payments. You pay part of it when you sign the contract and you pay the rest of it when your contract goes unconditional. In other words, all of the conditions in the contract have been met and now it's just sailing towards settlement. Hopefully it's a smooth sail. So if the home being purchased is a $1 million home and initial deposit of 0.25% would be $2,500. That's the amount also that they would keep if you pulled out during the cooling off period. The balance deposit, once all the conditions of the contract have been met, then you can make that a higher amount. Bear in mind that the two together cannot add up to more than 10% of the purchase price in Queensland. So say you decide you want to buy a home for $1 million and you want to make a nice, good, strong deposit of as much as you can't go over 10%. So you can't say, I'm going to pay you more than $100,000 as my deposit. You can't say, I'm going to pay you half the price as my deposit. I'll give you $500,000. You can't do that. You can only go up to 10%. And so that 10% is then broken into two payments. You don't have to go up to 10%. You can keep it as low as you want, really. It's up to the seller to accept that from you. So we recommend that you do 0.25% as your initial deposit and 4.25%. So it all adds up to 5%. But if you wanted to, you could make it go as high as 10%. I really hope that made sense. If it didn't, reread this information because I've tried to word it really cleanly